Many questions remain unanswered tonight following the death of a 21-year-old man from Essex. Police say Tawan Boyd violently confronted Baltimore County officers and engaged them in a physical struggle. Boyd was hospitalized but died this afternoon. WJZ's Live Rick Ritter speaks exclusively with Boyd's family, who are now questioning the circumstances surrounding his death. Rick.
Vic, police say Tawan Boyd was violent with them, which led to a 5-minute struggle. But Boyd's family claims excessive force was used by officers, and just days later, the 21-year-old is now dead. These photos show 21-year-old Tawan Boyd hospitalized, given to WJZ by his family after a violent struggle with Baltimore County Police. Early Sunday morning, police respond to Aiken Circle for the report of a disturbance. Officers arrived to find Boyd and his fiancée screaming at each other. The woman tells officers Boyd was acting crazy and was under the influence of drugs and alcohol. Police say Boyd appeared confused and paranoid, but when officers tried speaking with him, he ran to multiple police cars and tried getting inside.
The young man in the case is not behaving the way a person would normally behave.
Officers try to take Boyd to the hospital for an emergency evaluation, but according to the police report, Boyd wouldn't comply with police and refused to get on the ground or place his hands behind his back. The report says Boyd grabbed the back of one officer's neck and continued to push, kick, and flail.
It's a violent struggle. I mean, he's ripping off their badges and he's ripping off the cords to their radios. So we're talking about a physical struggle involving hands.
Medics arrive and the report says Boyd tried to break free from his restraints while 4 officers held him down. After receiving some sort of treatment, the report says Boyd became so calm they asked a medic to check the suspect for a pulse, but could clearly see he was still breathing. Boyd's family and fiancé, who was by his side that night, tell a different story.
He on the ground, 5 other police officers like on top of him, and not only that, one police officer got his arm around his neck like this, punching him, and then throughout the whole thing, he like, I can't breathe, he can't breathe.
Something that's now stuck in her mind forever.
He said he couldn't breathe, and not only that, after the ambulance got there, he was still on the ground for 20 minutes, and when he lifted him up to put him on a stretcher, he was already unconscious, like dangling.
Boyd died in the hospital on Wednesday. His death has now sparked several investigations.
No one has determined yet what his cause of death is. The medical examiner has to determine that.
Again, the cause of Boyd's death is still under investigation. Police say the officers involved, none of them were wearing body cameras. Vic?
Rick, thank you. And police say the officers involved suffered non-life-threatening injuries during the struggle and have not been placed on administrative leave.
We got a foul on the side.
That it is strange that when people call for medical help or having some type of medical crisis and people are in police custody, that they wind up severely injured or in fact dead as a result of that encounter. And so we're in an early investigatory stage. We're waiting to see, of course, the autopsy and what the police reports might say. And what the witnesses say. Of course, we can ascertain that, but the autopsy is a crucial piece of evidence that we have to see what they claim to be the cause of death.
I want to say I'm kind of lost for words. I just want my son back. It's nothing.
I'm sorry.
I just want my son back. They could have tased him. They could have maced him. They could have done anything. They could have. He coughed out, and he's gone.
What do you think went wrong?
I just think, I don't know.
Well, at this stage, our understanding is that Mr. Boyd was simply confused. There is never any allegation that he was acting out against anyone in the neighborhood, not even against himself. And so we reject any allegation at this stage that somehow he was a danger to anyone, not even himself.
No, it's an ongoing investigation. Do you know how medics got involved in the first place?
Well, to be very clear, our understanding is the call was for medics. We all know that dispatch makes the decision to send medics, police, and fire if they decide to do that. But the call has always been for medical assistance. There's never been an allegation that Mr. Boyd was violent or there was violence. So how the police got involved, apparently dispatch just simply sends them along with medics. At this stage, my understanding, Mr. Boyd made the original call for medical assistance.
The injuries that he suffered, I know the autopsy was in fact, but the pictures looked
very graphic.
Disturbing, yeah. But what was, he was subdued on the ground, or what do you know that might have led to that injury?
Now, our understanding at this point is that Mr. Boyd was fought to the ground, and that an officer straddled his back and put him in a chokehold and pummeled his face. And as you can see, the pictures speak 1,000 words. His face looks as if he was beat to death. But again, we are literally waiting on the medical reports to identify what other injuries he has suffered. No officer at this stage has ever alleged that Mr. Boyd posed a threat of serious bodily injury or death to anyone for them to exact this type of deadly force on him. It's simply tragic, and it was avoidable.
A 21-year-old man is dead after he was reportedly slugged in the face by a Baltimore police officer following a 911 call he made because he was feeling disoriented and needed an ambulance. Tawan Boyd died on Wednesday when doctors couldn't revive him after the encounter. An autopsy has not been completed yet, but police said during their response to the call, Boyd was acting confused and paranoid. According to the police report, Boyd asked officers to enter his house and told them that his girlfriend, Deonna Styron, got him intoxicated and was secretly recording him while someone else was in the home. Boyd wanted the officers to go into the house and find out who was in there, police said, but then began acting erratic and tried to enter 2 police cars. He also reportedly ran to a neighbor's house and began banging on the door and shouting, "Help! Call the police." It was obvious suspect Boyd was under the influence of a narcotic and/or suffering redacted and needed to be taken to the hospital for emergency evaluation, the police report states. Boyd is not described in the report as violent, but it says that he seemed to have scratched one officer's neck, accidentally kicked another while trying to stand, and grabbed a third officer's face with his hand slipping down to his badge and microphone. After Boyd was loaded into the back of an ambulance, he reportedly had physical injuries. According to the report, the cop whose face he grabbed, identified as Officer Bowman, delivered 2 closed fist strikes to the suspect's face with his right fist. They really were supposed to be there to get him to the nearest healthcare facility, Boyd family attorney, LaToya Francis Williams said. He was literally attacked. And by attacked, I mean the witness, Styron, is describing that he was struck many times and struck to the ground. Officer Bowman is the one that when he arrived, really started wailing on Mr. Boyd, meaning Mr. Boyd was on the ground in a prone position and Bowman sat on him, almost straddled his back, and put his left arm under Boyd's neck and pulled his head up in a choking fashion, Francis Williams added. According to the police report, officers were able to get Boyd under control by using body weight to keep him on the ground. It says that Officer Bowman controlled suspect Boyd's head and arms by holding him down with his arms, while another officer held him down by leaning on his buttocks/thigh area with my knees and using my arms. Boyd reportedly became so calm that Bowman asked a medic to check the suspect for a pulse, and medics advised that the suspect did have a heartbeat prior to being transported. Boyd was then taken to intensive care where he exhibited swelling on the brain and his kidneys failed before his heart stopped, according to Francis Williams. They kept on grabbing on him and holding him down, and he started screaming, "Grandma, Grandma, they're going to kill me." Boyd's grandmother, Linda Birch, said, "I think they killed him. By them being so many, and they tall and big, and he's small. It didn't take all them police just to try to hold him down." Baltimore police officials say that homicide detectives are looking into the incident, which is standard procedure in all police-involved deaths, and that an autopsy report could take as long as a month to complete.